Good evening, everybody. These are your videos for patterns and sequences for Monday's class. This is going to go on page 97 of your EN. The first thing you need to know is you have 3 brand new vocabulary words that you're going to need to look up in the back of your red textbook. Chapter 1, 7. And in your book, this is what it looks like, patterns and sequences. And your 3 words are sequence, term, and arithmetic sequence. You want to write these over on the far left side of your screen. Alright, so sequence, term, and arithmetic sequence. A sequence is going to be an ordered set of numbers where each number in the sequence is called a term. So if we have the first sequence, looks like this. We have 1, 3, 5, 7. And you could tell me that this is a sequence of odd numbers. And that we are jumping by 2 every time. They're also known as odds. And you can also tell me that each one of these numbers is called a term. So that's your vocabulary. And your job is going to be to figure out, A, is there a pattern? And what that pattern might be. In this case, it's +2. And then what are the additional 3 terms? Well, the next 3 terms in this case would be the next 3 odd numbers, 9, 11, and 13. Alright, the next thing you have to notice is when you're using a table. You can use a table to find your odd numbers, in which that you have the term and then you have its position. It's kind of like when you're standing in line for lunch. Are you first? Are you second? Are you third? Are you fourth? Alright, the position is when you're first in line, second in line, third in line, and that's usually noted by the variable n. So the first number, then the second number, then the third number, and the fourth number, and then they might put n in the last spot, meaning it could be the 8th number, the 12th number, the millionth number. Which one is it? And the importance of that is because later on we're going to learn to write an equation or a number sentence where we can find that term without having to add 2 every single time up until we get to the millionth term. So in this sequence, our first term is going to be 12, and then it's going to be 21, and then 30, and then 39, and then we don't know what the rest of them are. So our first step in this one is to figure out what is the pattern. Now, you have to remember the pattern is not just what happens between the first 2 numbers. You have to figure out first what happens between the first 2 numbers, but then does that happen, that same pattern, in between all the rest of the numbers? So here we go, what's the difference between 21 and 12? Well, that's +9. From 21 to 30, that's also +9. 30 to 39 is also +9. Now we're dealing with arithmetic sequences. That's one of your vocabulary words up here. Arithmetic sequence. And on arithmetic sequences, you're always going to be adding. You won't multiply, you won't divide. You'll either be adding or you could be subtracting, because subtracting is the same thing as adding a negative. So if each term is 9, then our next term, 39, our next term would be the 5th one would equal, you're thinking, you're right, it would be 48. And then our 6th term would be 57. Very good. Now what if I wanted to find the 9th or 10th, or what if I wanted to find the 50th term? And I don't want to sit here and figure out exactly how many times I have to add this to go to the 50th term. So instead what I'm going to do is I'm going to write an equation. And with this equation, I'm going to use that 9 that we had up here, And I know I'm going to take that 9 times n being its value in line, and then I'm going to see if there's anything else I need to add or subtract to get it. Okay? So what you're going to do is we're going to go backwards, and we're going to figure out, well, what was that 0 term? If you know there was somebody standing in front of you, like the teacher in front of a line, what would her number be? Well, then you'd have to say, well, 12 minus 9 equals 3, so that number would be 3, and it's a positive. So in my equation, I'm going to come down here and I'm going to say plus 3. Now this number, the 9 is always your repeated addition, or the pattern. The repeated addition, and we're multiplying it because that's what repeated addition is. It's multiplication. And then the second number, ooh, that's a really thick line. That's kind of hard to see, isn't it? Let me just a second. Let's pick a different color. The 3, or the second number that you add or subtract, which sometimes could be 0, is always the 0 position number. Let's say the value of it. The value of the 0 position. Okay. Now, if you don't get this part with the equations just today, that's okay, because we are actually not going to do that much in our assignment today. You're just going to be worrying about finding the pattern. And then tomorrow and Wednesday, you'll have to actually write the equation. So this is just a little preview. All right, so go ahead and get started on your assignment, and I'll see you in class.